You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law, voted best of Pahrump for 4 years. Give them a call, 775-727-9900. News 25 is also brought to you by Gunny's Air Conditioning and Heating, new, service, and repair. Call Gunny's, 775-727-6800.
Hello and welcome to this edition of News 25. I'm Unette Gentry. Thanks for joining us on Ace Country Radio, and we're also streaming at KPVM.TV. We're also on your Roku devices. It is Tuesday, July 22nd. In our top story, a 12-year-old's frantic 911 call sends Nye County deputies racing to a Pahrump home where her mother was reportedly found dead with a serious head injury after heavy bleeding. News 25 has more details.
Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to a residence here in Pahrump on the evening of July 20th after a 12-year-old called 911 reporting that her mother had a severe head injury and was bleeding. Deputies arrived around 6:30 p.m. and found a 41-year-old woman with significant head trauma and heavy bleeding. Inside the home was also 41-year-old Paul Morris, located on the couch with visible bruising to his body. He was unresponsive and unable to answer questions. Both individuals were transported to Desert View Hospital for treatment, and the woman involved was later flown by Mercy Air 21 to a trauma center in Las Vegas. Investigators reported finding broken glass and blood in the living room area. A firearm was recovered in the bedroom, but detectives determined that it was not used during this incident. According to the juvenile witness, Morris had been drinking heavily for the past 2 weeks before the incident. She told deputies that she discovered both adults injured after hearing a loud crash from the other room. Following further investigation that has been redacted from the declaration, Morris was arrested and booked into the Nye County Detention Center on charges of domestic battery with a deadly weapon, causing substantial bodily harm, and child abuse resulting in substantial mental suffering. Authorities say the woman involved in this incident was also reportedly taken into custody on similar charges, though News 25 has yet to be able to confirm this information. The Nye County Sheriff's Office continues to investigate this ongoing incident.
And the world mourns the loss of two legends, one in Hollywood acting and the other in the music world. We're mourning rock legend Ozzy Osbourne first. That iconic frontman of Black Sabbath passed away at the age of 76.
The world of rock is currently mourning a true icon, Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary frontman for Black Sabbath and one of the most influential figures in heavy metal, has died at the age of 76. In a heartfelt message, his family said, "It is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning. He was with his family and surrounded by love." No cause of death has been shared, though the singer has been open about his long battle with Parkinson's disease and several health challenges throughout the recent years. Just weeks ago, on July 5th, Ozzy delivered his final live performance in Birmingham, England, the city where he says his career began. The concert, titled Back to the Beginning, was a thunderous farewell with Black Sabbath, completed with fan-favorite anthems like War Pigs, Iron Man, and Paranoid. Known as the Prince of Darkness, he gained his fame not only from his unmistakable voice and electrifying performances, but also his wild antics, including the infamous moment where he bit the head off of a bat on stage. Ozzy Osbourne leaves behind his wife Sharon, his children Amy, Kelly, Jack, Jessica, and Lewis, and a legacy of grandchildren, as well as millions of fans who were touched by his music. As fans light the candles and blast Crazy Train in his honor, one thing is certain: the Prince of Darkness may have taken his final bow, but his music will echo forever. Rest easy, Ozzy. You gave us the ride of a lifetime.
And now the second legend we are mourning is Hollywood actor Malcolm Jamal Warner. He unfortunately passed over the weekend at the early age of 54 during a tragic drowning accident. He was swimming with his family in Costa Rica while on vacation, and witnesses say that while in the ocean, a current swept him further out into that tide. And and unfortunately, the Coast Guard brought his body to the coast shore unresponsive. Malcolm Jamal Warner is known collectively as America's son, the son of America's dad, Heathcliff Huxtable, because Malcolm Jamal Warner rose to prominence on the 80s and early 90s sitcom The Cosby Show as Theodore Huxtable. He's known as Theo, and this picture is from one of his most iconic scenes where his sister was home sewing a replica of a Gordon Gartrell fictional designer shirt, and we can see that went terribly wrong. It is one of the comedic, legendary sitcom scenes of the 80s, and we say to Malcolm Jamal Warner's family, friends, and fans, we love you and honor you, Theo. Malcolm Jamal Warner was also a legendary actor, and he was also a legendary performer and musician. He will sorely be missed. Rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner. We love you, Theo.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, there's a new nonprofit right here in Pahrump called Voices for All Abilities. News 25 spoke with the nonprofit's president and founder, Whitney McBride, to get details.
Hello, my name is Whitney with Voices for All Abilities. We just started a nonprofit about a month ago. I've been running a Pahrump special needs support group for about 2 years out here. We have our first event coming up, Camp VFAB, next week, July 28th through August 1st. It's an inclusive day camp for kids with diverse needs, including ADHD, ADD, BPD, sensory processing disorder. We really want to bring a place where kids who do have diverse needs, where they can be themselves. We're going to be having crafts, games, swimming. So we do have a website, voicesforallabilities.org. You can directly donate there, find out the events we're having. We would like to have an event once a month for Kids Night In, Parents Night Out, which we'd like to partner with a business to make happen starting in September after our camp event. You can also find me on Facebook at Voices for All Abilities, and you can donate there as well or talk directly with me. We're always looking for volunteers as well, which you can also fill out a packet on the website. We have advocates on our board to help with IEPs. We also have therapists on our board. So we're having our event from July 28th through August 1st, Camp VFAD over at Preferred RV. We are full currently. The response from the community has been amazing. I want to thank our volunteers, our sponsors, and everybody for really coming together and helping make this happen for the kids here in Pahrump.
Well, now that the NBA All-Star game is over, the Aces are getting back to their regular season tonight. Mikey Ruhan has all that and more in sports.
Time now for your News 25 look at sports and streaming at KPVM.TV and now on Roku devices. The Las Vegas Aviators are in Sacramento tonight to face the River Cats. Las Vegas Aces return to the court this evening as they welcome the Atlanta Dream. The Fastest Gun Alive 2025 World Championship of Cowboy Fast Draw took place in Fallon last week, July 7th through the 20th, using wax bullets, of course. Here's 17-time World Fast Draw champion Quick Cal to give us a little history lesson. And folks, don't try this at home.
Fast Draw really started in 1873 when Sam Cope introduced the Cope Peacemaker. It was said that God made men and women and Sam Cope made them equal. This was known as the equalizer. But later on, the dime novelists wrote all of these dime novels which later became Hollywood scripts. The very first motion picture ever made actually was The Great Train Robbery. Then later, as Hollywood developed in the 1950s, the television Western dominated the airwaves. Soon the sport of fast draw was born. And now the Cowboy Fast Draw Association has brought the sport back to its original equipment that existed in the Old West. The Cowboy Fast Draw Association is now about 5,000 members strong, stretched out all over the world. We have 80 clubs in this country alone. We have some starting up in Europe, Australia, and even Japan. Once a year, we meet to determine the fastest gun alive in Fallon, Nevada, first weekend in October.
And that's your look at sports on News 25.
And in today's health news, we have some information for those social drinkers out there. From just a glass of wine with dinner to maybe a beer at a ball game, alcohol is often a regular part of many social situations. Yet a recent study reveals that most Americans are unaware of alcohol's link to cancer.
Today's health report is brought to you by Desert View Hospital. When you or a loved one needs medical attention, Desert View Hospital is ready to help. We've been providing friendly and compassionate care to our neighbors since 2006, including emergency services available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Visit desertviewhospital.com to learn more. With limited exceptions, physicians are not employees or agents of this hospital.
Alcohol definitely is, I would say, sort of a modest to moderate increased risk for a lot of different cancers. When I say that, around sort of a 10 to 30% rate of increase.
Cleveland Clinic oncologist Dr. Sunil Kamath, who was not part of the study, says alcohol has been linked to at least 7 types of cancer. These include throat, esophagus, colon, breast, and liver cancers. And while cutting back on alcohol is a step in the right direction, Dr. Kamath says it's best not to drink it at all. That's because no amount of alcohol is risk-free, regardless of the type. Dr. Kamath stresses that turning down a drink today can go a long way when it comes to your cancer risk over time.
A lot of cancer risk actually is preventable, or things that we truly control. And alcohol is definitely a big part of that. And I think that's very empowering in a lot of ways. It's something that we can actually do for ourselves.
Don't grab that remote. More powerful news here for you on News 25 when we return.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500.
Welcome back. Well, have you ever wondered how your electricity gets turned back on after an outage? Valley Electric Association is here sharing those steps to get your power restored.
This segment of News 25 is brought to you by Valley Electric and its family of companies focused on serving our members. We're better together.
When the power goes out, most of us expect it to come back on within a few hours, but sometimes major storms cause widespread damage and outages can last longer than expected. The good news is that your electric co-op's line crews work long, hard hours to restore service safely to the greatest number of members. That's you in the shortest time possible. Ever wonder how they do it? Well, there are 4 steps to restoring power that we should all know about, especially when we find ourselves in the dark. Step 1. Repair high-voltage transmission lines. Transmission towers and lines supply power to thousands of members. They rarely fall, but when they do, they must be repaired first before other parts of the system can operate. Step 2. Inspect distribution substation. Distribution substations receive high-voltage power from transmission lines, then disperse that power at a lower voltage to the co-op's main distribution lines. Depending on your electric co-op's service territory, distribution substations can serve either hundreds or thousands of members. When a major power outage occurs, the co-op's line crews inspect the substation to determine if the problem stems from the transmission lines feeding into the substation itself, or if the problem is further down the line. Step 3. check main distribution lines. If the problem cannot be isolated at a distribution substation, the main distribution lines are checked first. These lines carry power to large groups of members in your electric co-op's service territory. Step 4. Examine tap lines. If local outages persist, supply lines called tap lines are examined. These lines deliver power to transformers that are either mounted on poles or placed on pads for underground service and can be found outside of homes, businesses, and schools. Occasionally, damage will occur on the service lines between the nearest transformer and your home. Has your neighbor ever had power while yours is out? That is why. When the problem is in the tap lines, co-op line crews will fix outages in an order that will restore service to the greatest number of members at a time. As you can see, restoring power after a major outage is a big job and involves much more than simply flipping a switch or removing a tree from a damaged line. When co-ops work to restore power, they often have the capability to work on multiple parts of the system simultaneously. This ensures reliable power with a faster response time. In the event of an outage, your local line crews will restore power safely to the greatest number of members in the shortest time possible, and we'll keep working until the lights are back on. As always, we appreciate your patience and your business.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
And during this weather cam, our Lerner and Rowe memories are still honoring Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy Osbourne with Ozzy's song Gravy Train. And it is a gravy, groovy summer day in this picturesque scene.
Weather is sponsored by the Nevada Dairy Farmers and the Dairy Council of Nevada, sharing the love of all things dairy. Celebrate the best moments with milk. Milk the moment. And the weather is also brought to you by the Ponderosa Dairy, Nevada's largest dairy, fresh from our farm to your table.
Good evening, Nevada. My name is Rory Rossell, coming to you from the Channel 25 Weather Studios. And taking a look at Nevada right now, up in northern Nevada, Fernley is at 86 degrees, Fallon is at 89, Carson City is at 80 degrees, Tonopah is at 84, Goldfield at 85, Beatty is at 93 degrees, Amargosa is at 99, Las Vegas is 1 degree lower at 98 degrees, and Death Valley is at 110 today. But here in the beautiful paradise of Pahrump, it's currently 95 degrees. The high today was 96. Wind blowing south at 14 miles per hour with sunny skies today. The humidity was 11%, and the sun rose this morning at 5:43 and is setting tonight at 7:56 p.m. The humidity raises up to 23%, and the wind continues to blow southeast at 11 miles per hour. The low tonight's going to be 69 degrees. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. It looks like we will be seeing some pretty nice temperatures throughout the next 7 days. 97 on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Saturday, it goes up to 98, and then back down to 97 on Sunday, up to 99 on Monday, and then all the way to 104 next Tuesday. Make sure to enjoy those nice temperatures and stay hydrated. Back to the desk, here's Unette.
Thanks so much, Rory. And again, as we close tonight, we give our condolences and say rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo of The Cosby Show, and to Ozzy Osbourne. That does it for this edition of News 25. I'm Unette Gentry. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the air next newscast. Good night.